This week on the Three Rings podcast.
Educate yourself in all other areas of your business: sales, marketing, PR, accounting.
It's better to build your value than to ask for more money.
It can't be, I believe I'm worth more. It has to be, you believe I'm worth more because of X, Y, and Z.
It's about making the choice of what kind of industry you, as a performer, want to be on. Welcome to episode 29 of the Three Rings podcast. My name's Stuart Bishop. I'm here with my fellow director, Bailey J. Muir.
Before we get into the video, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and turn on your notification bell up top so you know all about next week.
This week's topic is, how can you, as a performer, get paid more? Hey, Bailey, how's it going?
Yo, Stuart, I'm all good. How you doing?
I'm good. A little bit of a different time that we're filming today, but really I shouldn't say it because no one would know. But
we're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Yeah, we're much earlier than normal. Looking forward to this topic, because it's just one that people want to know. But why don't you explain why we're doing this today?
Yeah, so one of our awesome viewers, Ben Nash, dropped a comment on one of our, I say old, we've only been doing this for about 6 months, but old in our minds videos, which is great to see you going back and watching the previous ones as well, which was, hello Billy and Stuart, I have been listening to a lot of your conversations, definitely food for thought. The fees topic was very interesting. What do you think would make it easy to move up levels of pay? Would it be the dancer's agent or a mass database for every dancer? So I guess the rough topic in this is, how do dancers go about increasing their fees? Now, this is like a super multi-dimensional topic. As much as it'd be easy to throw a few generalizations out, I think it needs to be incredibly nuanced. So I don't really know which path to go on first. I'm going to throw it your way, Stuart. What would your initial thoughts be on how a dancer can increase their fees? What do they need to be looking at?
Well, I'm going to address first, I suppose, Ben's actual comment. He said two things first. So he said, do you just ask your agent? I would say, yes, you can do that. That is a way of getting paid more. He also says, talks about a database. Now, when he says a database, I presume he's saying a database which would have everyone's details and everyone's kind of prices on, which I think would be a great idea. However, to have something like that set up, could be a big undertaking. People might not want their prices on there and stuff like that. So for me, where I'm going to start with this conversation is, really, it's about choice. It's about making the choice of what kind of industry you, as a performer, want to be on. Do you want to be a worker bee, or do you want to be a true artist? So that's where I'm going to start. What's your initial thoughts before I sort of elaborate more on that kind of path?
I was just sparking off in my own mind a little bit about the database side of where you were just saying, like, some dancers might not want their stuff on there. I think this is where there's an incredibly tough area, kind of in the way of how our fees are currently made, because if you make the comparison to football, there are databases that advertise at everyone's transfer value. There are the occasional footballers whose wage we kind of know through that media speculation, but there would never be a database that said this is their wage. Seeing the way a dancer's fee is currently curated, to do a database, you would be having a database of what everyone is paid, which breaches all sorts of like GDPR and stuff like that. But it does pose a question. Is there a different element of the fee, the money that could be implemented that can give dancers something that can be put in a database like a transfer value? For example, could we just whack like a commercial value on top of the BFFs that takes into account all of the other factors? But where you're saying the like distinction between the two paths, are you the working dancer or are you the artist? I think that is really crucial as well, because the best way you can make the distinction of why dancers should be paid different to each other. It's like little Tommy just graduating from college. Is anyone going to put up the argument that on a dance job he should be worth the same amount of money as Maddie Ziegler, to take the extreme alternative? No. And why is Maddie Ziegler worth more? Not necessarily based on experience, which is what would likely jump to. It is on commercial value. It's on her following, her fan base, and her reputation. So there's so many factors there to take into consideration. What would you say are like the key things, Stuart, that make up a dancer's actual value?
I would say, I mean, obviously experience.
Mm.
Obviously, well, it's experience, and I would say it's where you're at as a person and how confident you are. And going back to these choices, making that choice between, do I go down the audition route? Do I, get experience by promoting other people, or do I straight away build my own thing? And the moment you start to do that, you start to build a much greater value than someone who is just turning up for auditions. So for me, the biggest key is confidence to say, right, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. Now, there might be some people listening thinking, well, I don't know what I want to be. I just want to dance behind someone. And we hear that a lot, Bailey, don't we? We always ask in our inductions for the agency, tell us what you want to do. But I always sort of pipe in and say, before you do, have a little think and tell us what you really want to do in the future, because we always get this, oh, I want to dance behind an artist, I want to be in a musical. And it's like, well, okay, you're probably going to do that in the next few years. So what is the actual dream? And we've spoke about it before in regards to training, where if you're training and you're not actually being, you haven't got the, should I say, the colleges haven't got the facility in the room to give you that ability to go out the box, and they just teach you you've got to be like this. It's very hard to have that confidence to say, right, well, actually, I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to be an artist. Where that comes from is something within the person. It's not coming from, right, when they go to college and people saying, you've got to go out the box. So long-winded answer to your question, but I think the main thing is having that confidence to come out of the box, because the moment you do, you start to become a proper artist.
I think there's something there as well of like the capacity you achieve that dream in. Because there is definitely like countless dancers who will say their dream is to be a backing dancer. And in my opinion, I think would therefore be inclined to believe going down the artist path means they can't achieve that. But then I look at Brookie and Jessie from TikTok. They've just been a backing dancer for Megan Trainor in her music video, and then just this past weekend appeared with her at Capital Summertime Ball. Let's say if Robbie Williams was to go on another swing top, what would stop him announcing that he's going to do that with 4 of the professionals from Strictly as his backing dancers? But they're there still in a backing dancer role, but in a very different capacity. No doubt Brookie and Jessie brought viewers to Megan Trainor's music video. If the Strictly stars went on tour with Robbie Williams, no doubt they would sell tickets as well as Robbie selling tickets. Even back to Maddie Ziegler, when she was in the Sia music videos, and she did some of Sia's tours as well. She was a backing dancer, but there was 100% people going to see Maddie. I would argue there was more people going to see Maddie than there actually were going to see Sia at that point. So it's the lens that you look at it from as well. Do you think there is something there where like dancers are scared by taking this alternate route, they won't be able to achieve those dreams, and it's actually like a bit of an unsubstantiated fear?
Oh, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I feel like, because we're not, I mean, yes, there's people like us encouraging people, get out the box, because it's it is not a universal teaching. It's not a universal mindset, even though it's like the big secret that no one's telling anyone to do. It's like, it seems obvious to me. Dance for 300 quid behind someone, or become someone. You know, and especially when it's a profession with dance where there's a time limit. If you don't get on, you're going to be seen as, oh, you look a bit too old to be doing that or doing this. If you're your own artist, there is no time limit. So we've really I forgot you actual I forgot your actual question. What was your question?
I was saying, do you think there's something there where like the working dancers have like an unsubstantiated fear that going down an artist
Yes.
pathway means they won't achieve the dreams when there is an absolute alternate route to achieving exactly that?
Yes, you do. It's either, at the moment, there is a fear. There is a fear. It's either, it feels like either the ultra cool, confident person who will do it, or the absolute on the spectrum, and I don't mean this in any horrible way, but the person who is not going to become the worker bee because they can't fit in. So actually, even though people might look at someone and go, wow, look, they've got maybe a disability, or they've got some kind of mental problems, whatever, they're probably better off, because they're the ones who are going, well, I don't fit in there, so I'm going to do my own thing. Those type of people have no fear. It's the same the other end, where you get someone who's mega confident, mega cool, perhaps has always been the favorite, who will try something because they've got that confidence. The fear comes in because, well, it's comfortable. It's comfortable to be that worker bee. It's the route that everyone does, and and even though majority of people in that route are failing, it doesn't feel like a fearful thing to fail at that route. Do you get what I mean? Because it's like, well, everyone's finding it hard, everyone's finding it tricky, so I'm not scared of this failure here. However, they will have that fear to then go, well, I'm going to go out the box and try something which could make me millions. So I don't know, it's tricky. I just want to go back to the asking your agent, because if you are a worker bee and you ask your agent, can I have more money? You've got that right to do that. That is one of those things that someone out of the box would do. They would say, oh, I want more, I value myself more, I'm going to ask this, or if something comes in, I'm going to try and push it up. That's fine. But if you ask your agent and you're not offering anything else, you're not bringing any other ideas, they're probably going to say, well, I'm at the mercy of what I've been told the fee is. Because a lot of agents aren't actually, I don't know, they don't really have much, balls really. I mean, they might be women, but what I mean is a lot of agents they've come from being dancers themselves. So they've come into being an agent with fear of asking for more, or trying to push the boundaries, or trying not to push the boundaries, because that's what they've been. So it's
I think
yeah, I was going to ask you, with actual agents, how do you feel about that? If they're a worker bee, is it even worth it asking the agent?
No. What I was going to say to you is, I think there's a massive flaw in the industry setup that I don't know even how much it is as agents of having the balls to ask, as it is just when our industry is not set up in a way that you can ask currently. Because we're built on this sort of worker bee level. To be honest, I'm rooting that in the wrong place, because it's not necessarily the level it's at, it's who sets the fees. Because the majority of jobs have the fees set before it even hits the agent, and we have that oversaturation problem, it becomes pretty much impossible to try to shift the fees because there's too many other people that fit into that box. If you say you want money, they'll just go, okay, cool, I'll leave you, then I'll go to the next person who will accept it. Because none of the artists on that level are building any form of leverage. And I think to root what we were just saying, this like alternate route of being the artist, into Ben's question, the key to that is that's bringing leverage. When Brookie and Jesse turn up at the negotiation table for that Meghan Trainor music video, they can put on the table, we're bringing this 6, 7, 8 million's worth of following to your music video. The rest of your worker bee dancers, what are they putting on the table? I have 3 years training and I can dance for you. You haven't got anything to build with. You haven't got anything to compete with each other on. On this artist end, Brookie and Jesse on, let's say, 8 million followers have a very statistical basis of we're worth more than the people with 5 million followers, but we're not worth as much as the ones with 15. And it then creates a space for a disparity in the fees where it makes sense for people to be different. It makes sense for people to ask more. I think in the traditional route of our industry, the problem with asking for more is you never set your own individual fee to begin with. So you don't even know if your value is what you're already getting. You might already be getting overpaid, which I think is a whole other issue with how high those fees are. You're asking for more money when you're already not working on the money you're getting. Do you need more money per day or do you need more money long term? What's your thoughts on that with the money, Stuart? I know I'm going into a bit of a rabbit hole there.
No, well, it's this thing of how many commercial dancers are actually worth the fees that they're actually on right from the start. And this is we've talked about this before, about sort of levels of when should people get paid. I know when we've spoken in the past to Dancers Network, they floated an idea of trying to get people more experience, more pay, which seems like the obvious thing to do. But we know that actually, well, experience is a major thing. But if you've got if all you've got is experience and you've got nothing around that, as in i.e. followers or content to be able to deliver ad space or deliver something for a brand or a spot, sponsors, then what, why should you pay someone more because they're older? It's a young person's game. I always think, well, there is no argument now when you've got examples like Brookie and Jesse. It's crazy because people might listen to this. Oh, right, I've got to get more followers. Well, you do have to get more followers, but it's not just getting followers, because I know there are commercial dancers out there who have got good Instagram followers, but they're not actually using those followers. They're not actually actively seeking sort of activation, client activations or any kind of sponsors or brands. They're just sort of building the followers up. Yes, that's going to be much better than someone who hasn't got any followers, but you've got to do it with some kind of purpose, so brands can go, I see our path, how we can work with these people. When you're a dancer and you just come out of college and then you get told, yes, your rate is 350 or 400 quid for the day, that is way over their value, way over their value. But it will take a brave person, because any way you try to implement that, you're going to come across massive problems. It's a dead end. It has to be coming out of college with this, I'm going to go down the other route. I'm going to be an artist. Much more scarier. But then the answer to Ben's question is, you then just say, this is how much I want.
But it needs to be based in some sort of value system. So at the moment, we just pluck figures out of thin air and go, right, I want that now. And I got paid that once on a shoot, so now I want an extra 50 quid. there's no logical business built underneath it. And I think this is the problem that you would hit if you tried to pick the industry up in its current state and just go, okay, everyone's getting paid 350. There's these factors of value, so we're going to build that on top of 350. It's not in the realms of reality. We've got such a fundamental issue there that it's like you need to actually work backwards to then work forwards. To run the statistics on it, like if you're paid £350 per day, there's 260 working days in a year. So what you're telling a client is you're worth £91,000 per year. But that's more than a police officer that at the absolute top of his game, 20 years experience. More than a senior doctor, more than a fireman, more than someone in the army, more than some politicians. It's crazy money. Now, yeah, you would absolutely struggle to find a dancer that is actually earning 91,000 a year. So why the hell are we telling the clients that we're worth that? That's exactly why you're not earning 91,000 a year, because you've priced yourself out of the work. Let's take another freelance example. If you've got a window cleaner who is trying to charge £500 to clean the windows of a house, and there's only 2 clients in his area that can afford that, he's then making £1,000 per month. But if he drops his fees to £100 per house, and the majority of the community can afford that, and suddenly he's got like 8 clients per day, he's earned more in a day and a half charging £100 than he would earn in a whole month charging 500, because the clients just can't afford the fee. The best way to earn money long term is to drop it.
You're spitting facts, Brayley, that no one wants to hear. These kind of stats, these type of logical explanations, dancers just don't want to hear this. People, I've been guilty of this in the past. We've got to be paid more. We've got to be paid more. And I feel like dancers are being paid more now, because of, Dancers Network, their work at the sort of a few years ago with the getting out the thing. It has tightened everything up. People are looking at the industry now. People are thinking about how much dancers should be paid, and they are generally getting paid more. So I feel like that was achieved. However, that they're still going for more and more all the time, and looking at every single angle of the job. Is there anything in the job, as well as the fee that we're getting, that we can get better? So it's all the time, even when their fees, even if their fees are staying the same, they're getting a better deal because everything else is getting tightened. Overtime is getting fixed, and all these things are happening. But it's too much. It's too much. It's too much for someone who's just coming out to say that they're worth 91,000, 90 grand a year. And I think it's too much for even 90 grand for a top commercial dancer who's working behind artists. I think that's how many are really worth that? Now, you could argue that Brooke and Jessie are worth that, even though they're fresh out of college. The commercial industry here with the top dancers, they're not even looking at Brooke and Jessie. They're not even looking at that thing, because it's too late in the day for them. They don't want to see that there is a whole easier path. No, I won't say easier. There is a whole path which gives you much more opportunity to be able to make the money that you think as a dancer that you are worth. Go on.
I think there's something there as well of what a dancer sometimes thinks in their mind means they're worth more value, brings no value to the client.
No.
What the client will pay you more for is if you can make the client more money. Something like your experience, very, very marginal, what increase it actually brings to the client's return on investment. Following, huge difference. You have to put yourself in your client's shoes to understand what you need to do to get them to be willing to pay you more. And that's what we often lack. Experience on the level of, I've never done a music video before, or I've done 5 music videos before, so I know how to be on set. There is definitely a financial exchange there, because it's going to save the client time, because you know what to do. But you having done 19 music videos as opposed to 20 music videos, that level of experience doesn't count for anything at all financially. It's a question of, are you experienced, are you not experienced? So yes or no. It's not, I've done 5 music videos, 10 music videos, 15. On a following level, 1 million followers isn't worth half as much as 2 million followers.
Mm.
The experience thing is a very minor factor of the value to a client, I would say. As long as you know how to act, they're happy.
Can you believe that our biggest sort of breadthrough here is, well, actually no, the biggest one is making that choice to become a true artist. But the second thing is that what we're saying is to ask for less money.
Yeah.
Ask for less money and you'll be paid more. That sounds ridiculous, but it's logical. It's logical when you're in an industry that is asking for too much money and never getting hired. It's just ridiculous.
Well, this is it. I'll pull back to Spotlight statistics from last season. 90,000 performers, 2,500 jobs. We need to find a way to get more jobs. That's evident in the statistics. Well, you cut the fees in half, everyone's still paid £175 per day. That's still a higher per day rate than most industries in this country. Then the client's got twice as much budget, can hire twice as many dancers. So suddenly there's more work for everyone. So it becomes way easier to work consistently throughout the year. We need to look at how to adjust the client's budget for talent to unlock more jobs. Problems, jobs, not pay.
Do you think that there is a fundamental flaw in the viewpoint of a sort of a professional dancer, of where they're sort of valued at and where they're going and how they're perceived? Because for me, when you are a worker bee, and when I say, I suppose we should distinguish what a worker bee is basically someone who is working for someone else, promoting someone else's dream. Do you think that there is I don't know whether it's disillusion or not disillusion, I'm trying to think of the right word, when they're just not thinking straight, when they are, you know, what am I trying to say here? So as a dancer who is dancing behind someone, do you think that actual genre of dancer, that level, are seeing themselves bigger than they are? Do you think it's been built up over a period of time that if you dance behind someone, that's a massive thing? Should we be, applauding and congratulating and going, "Oh, babe, you're so amazing," to people who are just sort of promoting other people? Is it, are we just going way over the top with it?
Well, I think there is a hole there where it should definitely be celebrated. It is absolutely incredible to be doing that. But to build the career, that celebration needs to be twinned with, awesome, you've achieved that. That is fucking brilliant. What's next? Where do we go from here? Not, you've reached the top level and you will now stay there for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
There is 100 more steps above that we're not enabled to think about.
Because sorry, just to interject on your point, what you're saying, when they get to that, it's often where dancers then plateau and start to ask for more.
And I think the problem comes in, we're set up to have a warped sense of reality coming into the industry. Because we have this £350 per day figure, but we're educated the whole time that dancers are low paid, mistreated, XYZ. So come out completely detached from reality, believing that 350 is low paid. Because you know what it's like as a dancer. The majority of us have been doing this since we were a kid. We've never looked at any other industry. We have no idea what any other industry is paid. So if you tell us £350 is low paid, we will wholeheartedly believe that a doctor is therefore on 500 per day. Not remotely reality. But we are literally raised so much in this world of our industry that we never look outside to know the reality. So it's like we're all operating on a miseducation, is what I would say. And I think that creates a lot of problems. I think one of the main reasons that dancers appear to be low paid is because in the trajectory of a year, they earn way, way less than any other industry. And therefore, any other industry looking in is going, oh, well, they must be low paid then. No other industry has the insight to go, oh, they're only working 3 jobs a year. It doesn't align with anything outside of our world.
Yeah. This isn't just dancers. I mean, Ben is actually, he was asking, he's a director who made the comment. It can be used in any part of the industry, well, in any day life, really. You look at any type of entrepreneur, that they might have worked for a corporate company, but the moment they leave, they've got that opportunity to make more. A lot of entrepreneurs don't, because it can be very tricky. But if you're ever going to make something of yourself, off your own back, and where people will go, wow, it's about him, then you've got to go for it. You've got to do it. Yes, there's risk, but what would you say the risk ratio is compared to dancing, just being a normal dancer? Most people are failing anyway.
That's it. I think the alternate is less risk, because in the alternate, even if you don't book the job to be the backing dancer, you're still pulling money out of the back of the TikTok Creator Fund. You're still getting YouTube monetization. You're still getting sponsorship. You're still bringing in money.
Yeah.
And this goes into a whole other sector of what we view as a dance career as well. We're, again, kind of miseducated to look at what defines a successful career or not successful career as the credits on a CV, which I think, again, is a kind of crazy thing. Like, yeah, that counts for a lot, but really, what is a career? That's working consistently within an industry and receiving a living from that industry. Often we'll look at like a career dance teacher and go, oh, well, they're not as successful as that person who did 5 artist tours. Well, that person who did 5 artist tours has probably earned like a 10 from the industry as what the dance teacher made. So it's like, actually, surely a dance career should be, the value of that, what we deem as successful or not, should be built on, has that industry been your living? Doesn't matter in which route you achieve that. There's a lot of problems there when you're just solely reliant on work as the only thing that defines whether you're successful or not.
Yeah, I think I was going to say, often when you look at people who want to change their life, you have to have that desire first. Often people go, oh no, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do, but they've got to actually want that first, before they can do these things. It's no point going, right, well, you got to do this and that, and you got to eat that, blah blah. If they don't want to do it, it's not going to work. So as a performer, perhaps if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I do want to get paid more, it's not a case of just going, right, well, okay, I'll just charge less straight away. You got to have a strategy behind everything. There's no point charging less if actually you're not getting auditions, or you're not going anywhere, and you're not getting opportunity. It's finding the right sort of platform. Now it might be if you are a working commercial dancer right now, it might be. asking your agent and saying, look, I've got all these credits, I'm doing really well. The next time it comes around, where someone's wanting me, I want to go out a little bit more. And there's nothing wrong with that. But short term, there's a ceiling. Short term, there is
Absolutely.
a ceiling to that, which once you get to it, you will become, like a lot of top commercial dancers, very moany. And it's very moany because they then start to feel undervalued and, I'm doing this and I've done that and I should be getting this. But a client will only ever see you but underneath a certain level because they've got someone else more important, which is the star, which is the product, which is the brand or whatever you're trying to promote.
Do you think there's something there of the moment coming when you have agents and then you're going, right, I need a manager now because I want more as well? Is it always the agent you should be asking? What's your thoughts on that?
I think we've reached the ceiling for commercial dancers. I think we can't be asking for any more. And I think unless a dancer or a performer comes out of college with that clear, I've already made my mind up where I'm going, I think it's just going to, it's only a dead end path, and it's only a path which is going to get you frustrated. No matter how successful you are. We know top commercial dancers who are working less now than they were before the pandemic, but they're still wanting to be paid more all the time, and they feel like they deserve more, but they're not giving anything. They're not giving, just being the dancer is just not enough. I've forgotten your question again.
I was saying, should it be the agent they turn around to and go, I need more money next time? Or is that a moment that it should be going, okay, I need a manager now. I've done the agent level.
It is, because as well as me, that when dancers do come and ask for more, it's an annoyance, because not an annoyance as in we don't want to get more for them, but it's like, most of the time, look, we're offering you this because we have looked at the fees, we've looked at you and gone, this is what we think you're valued at. And you're lucky to get that, to be honest, with most dancers. So on a representative level, it's going to annoy an agent because they're just trying to get the job booked and just trying to get you booked. They're not looking at your career. They're looking at getting as many jobs or as many dancers as possible. And it doesn't actually matter for the agent who's getting those jobs. So the moment you're thinking, I want more, that is, when you should be looking for a management, definitely. But it could be, because someone might say, well, okay, Bailey Stuart, I'm thinking this and I've just literally left college and I want more. Well, cool. Get a management,
Yeah.
But you have to present your management with something other than just wanting to be a dancer behind someone.
Exactly. I think this is one of the key flaws in the industry setup, where because we don't really have an established management option to transfer onto at the moment, the obvious thing is to ask your agent for more money. But I would say 95% of the time, that is actually counterproductive. There's like three things that will happen. Either your agent's going to turn around and go, well, that's cool if you want more money, but the fees of this job are that. So it's a case of you take that fee or you don't. There isn't anything more I can go and ask for. That is the fee. Take it or leave it. Which, that is the way the agent level tends to work. Fees are set in place before you even go to the dancers. Now, you could argue whether that's right or wrong. I'd say on the agent level, it's right. Management level, it's wrong. But the management level is where you've got leverage.
Client level, in their mind, they're only thinking you're worth that. That's why they've offered
it. This is where I'm coming to. Second option is your agent goes, okay, cool, I don't know I'll get it, but I'm happy to try it. Go to the client. Client goes, no, I can't afford that. Find me someone that will fit the 350 bracket. And the agent goes, okay, cool. go back, all they've done is waste their time. Or the third option is that conversation is going on so last minute that the client then goes, okay, fine, I'm going to have to get this done. So yes, I'll give you that extra money, but I am not booking that person again.
Yeah.
And you've alienated the client. You've cut off your work.
Mm.
You're basically bringing your career to an end. Now, I don't say that in a way of don't ask for more money because it will kill your career. I'm saying that in a way of on this level, it will, and this is where we need a level above. We need it to become an option that people can look for management.
Mm.
Because once you've done that first world tour behind an artist, where I said, yes, that should be celebrated, but with a conversation of where do we go next? That's where management comes in. Next time you go on that artist world tour, you can't just be the backing dancer. If we come back to that earlier example I gave of if Robbie Williams went on the swing tour and had 4 Strictly couples as his backing dancers, they would technically be backing dancers, but think about how they would be billed. It would be Robbie Williams swing tour starring Johannes X, Y, Z.
Mm.
Their names on the bill, even though they're backing dancers. That's what the management level needs to become. Once you've done that one world tour, you've ticked the experience box. That's a max extra value you can really get on the agent level. You then need someone to go, okay, cool, you want more money. How do we then address building more value so we can ask for it? How do we build leverage? I think going down a simplistic form of, I just want more money, lacks thought process. You want more money, you've got to make a considered decision on how to basically fairly ask for more money. You can't just ask for it. It has to be substantiated on something you've built. That's where management comes.
So what you're saying is, if you're going to ask for more money, and everyone's got their right to ask for more money, you've got to make sure it's the right time, and you're coming with some kind of leverage.
Yes.
In all negotiations, if you ask for, well, I want more, you're always, fine to ask more. But if you don't have something up your sleeve when they say, well, why do you think, or what can you bring? You need to have multiple reasons. Well, but I mean, if you've got to that point, I mean, we said it a minute ago, if you've got to that point where you're then doing that, it's especially if it's around the job, because generally dancers don't speak to their agents unless it's a job or a casting that's come through. They don't just ring them up. Some people do. On a representative level, I don't think they do. On a management level, yes, they have conversations all the time. But as a dancer, the time is not right when you're being offered something and your agent is trying to book you for that job and trying to make sure that that the client gets what they want. It's not the right time to be asking for a pay rise at that point. That is when it's like, what the hell? Who the hell is this person?
What it is it's understanding the economics of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Often it's not as simple as we like to think of just ask for more money.
Yeah.
Where you're then going to get more money. Like, take it in a theatre sense. You have to understand the budgets. Actually, you probably can't get away with asking that much more within your base fee, because that's going to throw the budgets out of proportion, where then they're not even going to get funding for that production because the costs to get to an opening night are too high. However, where you can get more money is if you are on a level where your name's on the poster, you can ask for a bit of the back end, percentage of ticket sales. That's where you learn the extra. It's not always as simple as my money should come out of the budget. I always think this on music videos. We're always trying to push for more money for music videos at the moment, not remotely taking into consideration the economics of the industry. The budgets for music videos are going down all the time. Reason for that isn't that they can't afford to make videos anymore. It's that videos aren't creating the same returns anymore. Where it used to be everything would go on MTV and then that would convert to album sales. It was a very easy conversion. The music video was a marketing method. So it was basically pay to play. Pay to get your music video on MTV, that's that. Now we don't really have the MTV structure and everything is YouTube. It's not as simple as they're on the channel, it's creating conversions. A music video on YouTube is fighting amongst every other piece of content. It's fighting podcasts, it's fighting Mr. Beast videos, etc., etc. So it's basically become pay to win, not pay to play. So it's never going to create the return. And there's a statistic in the music industry that it's actually way easier. So your discovery place at the moment in music is TikTok. Statistically, it's been proven it's easier to convert someone from TikTok direct to Spotify, where the revenue stream then kicks in, than is actually convert them from TikTok to the music video, then back to Spotify, because they're not earning money from the music video. The music video is still only a system to direct to Spotify. So it's basically becoming an unnecessary middleman, and that's why they're not putting the money in. So all we're doing by asking for more money out of the music video is bringing them to a point of, well, we're already dropping it because it's not working, so if they want more money, we'll just stop using them. We don't look at the economics.
So what we're saying is better to build your value than to ask for more money.
Yes.
At the level of representative dancers level, I would say, because there is a ceiling. I think we've probably reached it, unless you know everything in the world keeps going up, and you know over the next 5-10 years, it's an obvious okay, it needs to go up a bit more again. But we're just, I think, might be a bit controversial, but I think more time needs to go into individual. Well, it's not controversial. More time needs to go into individual artists thinking more about themselves and where they want to go long term, but also more time should be spent on the education of that than the education of this is what you're worth as a dancer and you should be trying to get that, because I think that is damaging for the industry as a whole. And I think because of that, and because of what's been built over a period of time, by Dancers Network, saying that you got to get this and you should get this and you don't forget that has created a warped sense of value for a worker bee dancer. And I know that sounds harsh, and I'm not in any way, I as a dancer, did dance work. I'm not trying to poo-poo or push that down, but it's got to be seen that this level above there is proper stuff. Not proper stuff, is stuff which is going to bring long-term glory, and anything underneath that, when you are working for other people, is going to bring short-term career and less rewards.
This is it. It's like you have to build your value first to then ask for more money. There's an order to doing it. And when you're looking at how do I build that value, you've got to, in that moment, go into your I'm a business, not I'm an artist mode, and actually click into your sales department. To make the comparison back to a window cleaner, if a window cleaner is trying to increase their fee, they go into salesman mode. They can't stand there with their client and be like, well, yeah, I'm charging more because I've got this nice new equipment and I've got this new spray I'm going to put on your windows that's X, Y, and Z chemical that's really good for this type of glass. The client's going, I don't give a shit about that. You've got to put yourself in the client's shoes. Our window cleaner's going to sell that to their client, is going, look, if you get me to do your windows, this is how you're going to feel when you come home and see how nice your house is. You're going to be so much more willing to invite people around for tea, for a coffee on the weekend, etc. You've got to sell a feeling. You've got to sell them what they're getting, not what you believe. I think there's something fundamentally flawed in this whole phrase of, I believe I'm worth more, so I need more money. You're not even thinking in the right person's shoes to raise your value. You've got to be thinking sales. You've got to be in your client's shoes. It can't be, I believe I'm worth more. It has to be, you believe I'm worth more because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It's a way of thinking about it. And I think where we currently have this like power struggle is because we're not thinking in a logical way to raise the value. We're thinking in like a sort of egotistical, self-indulgent way of desperation, I guess. It's completely flawed in the logic of how we think about it. We need to click into sales mode. And I guess it's come back to education. If artists are going to be a business, they need to be taught how to act like a business. They can't just be in college taking dance lessons. They need full sales lessons. They need marketing lessons. There are 100 lessons that should be done in college that look like a uni course, not just in a studio. There's so much more to the picture than being a great dancer. It's all rooted in business.
Let's just sort of bring a conclusion to this then. What a dancer might be asking, okay, got it. Understand what you're saying, Bailey. Understand what you're saying, Stuart. What can I do to become out of the box? What are these extra things then that a dancer, perhaps we can just give some ideas, because it's like, well, okay, I'm a dancer, I've worked behind people and I'm doing well, and now I'm being told I've got to go out the box and do something different. So what actually is that?
I think you've got two options. Actually, you should probably do both options, which is educate yourself in all other areas of your business: sales, marketing, PR, accounting, product development, social management. There's a whole list of stuff we could throw there. However, also it's building your team. I think you should educate yourself in absolutely everything so you can be the person steering the ship. But you still need experts. You're never going to be an expert in each one of those fields. You just need to have enough insight that you know if the person running that for you is doing a good job or not. You know what notes to give them. You know how to speak to them, what their terminology is. So I think it's education and building a team, which comes back to this management point.
And what about actual ideas? What actual things can I do? Like, as a dancer, all I know is to audition. What can I do? When we say to actors, when we talk to actors, we're always looking for, well, could you direct a play? Could you write something? What is it that dancers can do different to what they're doing as just going to auditions?
And this is back to being an artist, I guess, isn't it? We often think of a dancer and a choreographer as two very different roles, but actually in an artist capacity, they're one of the same. An artist creates, and their creation is their performance. That's kind of what we need to root it. And I think through a format of being an artist, it's going to be far easier to make that transition because there isn't really a transition to make. Do you think your current worker bee dancers on this agent level, when they want to become a choreographer, it seems like a massive jump. On an artist level, let's say Maddie Ziegler was suddenly to be named as a choreographer on a Netflix show tomorrow. No one would bat an eyelid. It's a normal trajectory because she's an artist. We don't think she isn't a choreographer. Through that format of educating, I'm a creator, you've opened yourself up to any possibility. You've not limited yourself in a single bracket. It is breaking the bracket, I think.
So it's you say creating there. It's creating your own shows, creating your own videos. It's coming up with concepts. It's building your own workshop tour. It's coming up with different things, creating pitches for brands. It's it's basically everything but just turning up at auditions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's pushing your brand forward, not facilitating somebody else's brand.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think, again, that's a level where management kicks in. On a management level, even when you're promoting someone else's brand, you're pushing your brand forward. On
So
this agent level, we don't have that.
no,
You're only pushing someone else forward.
yeah, and on the agent level, you are risking, you know, a good agent will turn around and give you a proper explanation why they haven't asked for more already. Um, you're risking, when you're asking for more when there isn't more, or they haven't offered more, you're risking perhaps not you losing future work through that client, because perhaps they would only have used you ever once anyway. But you're risking your agent, and it's like a what's it called, effect. Everything kind of goes from one to the other to the other. So an agent isn't going to want to risk it anyway. They're going to just say, well, you know what, I'll go and ask, but quite possibly they might not even ask, because they're probably just thinking, no, I'll just go back and tell him, that we did
Yeah,
ask and they said no.
that's it. It's
So
like, I know what the answer's going to be anyway.
yeah, so short term, we're saying you can ask your agent. Probably not going to, on a representative level, probably not going to do anything good for you. Database idea, again, if you are not wanting to be an artist, I wouldn't see why a dancer wouldn't want to be on a database, because, well, I know what my fees are. I'm kind of aligning with everybody else, and we're all happy for everyone to see our fees. But what we're saying is, make that choice, go down the new emerging path, which now people are making proper money from, not 350. What can I get 400? It's the bet Thingy and Jesse, I'm sure they've got it all, their YouTube and their we know it's all set up correct, because the fruits of their success is happening. You're seeing it in real time, where they're performing with international artists, and the international artists are getting them onto their video, so their video can become more popular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Just to extend a little bit further before we round this off on the database level as well, I think there's something problematic there in our industry, because if you actually give a client access to all of that information, I think a lot of clients are going to go, awesome, I know who the cheapest dancers are, I'll just book them every time.
Yeah.
Actually, everyone worth more probably isn't going to then get booked. In football, obviously, the big teams will pay for all the higher players, because there is this thing of, well, I need someone that can score a hat trick.
Yeah.
In our industry, the clients don't. Well, there's two levels, which one is kind of harsh on dance. The clients don't understand dance enough to know who's really better than each other. They can't see where those fees are backed up.
Yeah.
But equally, and this is a harsh level, how much does it really matter on the current level?
And how much they actually care. How much they care.
Like, take a music video. If they've got incredible dancers or shit dancers, but it's a Justin Timberlake music video, it's probably going to get relatively the same watching figures, because they're coming for Justin Timberlake. They're not coming for the dancers. Yeah, there'll probably be some comments underneath being like, well, that was shit. But that doesn't affect anything where Justin Timberlake actually makes money. So does the client really care? I think give them too much information, it may go the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think they do care, and why should they care? Why should they care? This is the thing. Dancers feel like that they are more important than everybody else. Why should someone care more about a dancer than the person who's sitting up there doing the important lights? It should all be sort of relative, really. It should all be the same. But because for some reason dancers have this, that they're more important, that they're a bit better than, I don't know. It's a strange old thing. And a client, anyone with a bit of sort of something about them, we'll see, well, they're just dancers.
I think this is where it comes back to the warped perception as well. Because from like the outside on set, it seems like they think they're better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I think that actually stems from their miseducation, that they're treated worse than everyone else. And they're actually on set trying to go, I should be treated the same as everyone else. Why am I so disrespected? And everyone on set is going, hold up, you're not. You're paid more than 90% of the people in this room. But the dancer's going, I know I'm paid less than everyone because I was taught this at college.
Yeah.
It's not the truth. We're all miseducated. So I've said before, as an agent, I will still panic when a fee comes in that's below 350, even though I now know the reality compared to other industries from my research, because it's so ingrained and taught to us that it's like trying to escape a matrix. Looking at it, we're totally miseducated.
We're gonna we're planning to do at some point these panels. We're going to get some panels, and I think this could be a great topic to get people in, where to have people from different sort of sides, not necessarily to prove our point, but I feel like it's not for us to say this is the right way to do it, but it seems this is the only way to do it. It's the only logical way when you're looking and you're seeing people like Brooke and Jesse, who you could argue are nowhere near as good dancers as the top commercial dancers. Okay. But so I could see that top commercial dancers, if we gave them an example, would be like, who? They wouldn't want to know. They don't care what they're making. No, they don't need to know that. You know, I don't know. You know, I think, it's just got to the point where we've reached the ceiling. They can't ask for any more. They're getting, how much better are they going to get treated? Now they're getting, everything is, the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed, and everything now is watertight. If you're going through one of the biggest the 10, 15 agents who do commercial dance, they're all sticking to Dancers Network rules, or they should be. So it's like, well, the very fact that Dancers Network have not brought out or made any other changes apart from those original, whatever it was called, the terms and conditions, proves there isn't any. They've reached that ceiling. There's not much to ask. You can't, any more. People are going to go, right, you're absolutely taking the piss now. You're just not good enough. And that doesn't mean they're not good dancers. But dance now is not about just moving your feet. It's about the business of dance. And if you're not into the business of dance, then you're just a dancer. And you're no different to someone who's just dancing on the street or dancing in a club. You've got to have something else with you to ask for that extra, money to prove your value.
This is it. I think we have to look at the music industry. There's millions of artists out there who are far more talented than the people that we see in the charts, but they don't have the business structure behind them to be successful. We've got to look at how those artists are created and start to replicate it. And again, that's rooted in the management. Obviously, the record labels are absolute leaders in having all the best salespeople, all the best marketing, the best distributors, A&Rs, all of this. We need management companies in dance that can do that. I don't know, maybe that even comes from connecting with those labels. Why couldn't Sony have a set of dancers that they manage and can actually therefore tap into the sales teams that Sony already have? Stuff like that. But we need a major infrastructure to take it to any further level. If you start in like a record label meeting, they're going to say TikTok every 30 seconds nowadays.
Yeah.
But in dance, there isn't many people that even mention it. No one's being encouraged to exploit that platform. And that's why no one's building. We're not up to date.
It's because it will expose the majority of our industry. That's why, because they're a lot of the ones who are asking and have been advocates for better this and better that have missed. It feels like possibly have missed the generational thing of TikTok. You know, I am only into TikTok. I fucking hate TikTok. I don't want another thing, but I'm into it, and I have to look at it because you have educated me as a younger person how important it is. And I can see now that, you know, if you're an artist, a dance artist, and you're not on TikTok, and you're not, you know, there's no point just being on it. It's, you know, it's like my social media. My social media never grows because I'm not actively on it, pushing it. You know, you've got to. It's like your left leg.
Yeah. And this is the problem in our industry is even young dancers like my sort of generation. If you really challenge them on it, I bet a vast majority will go, yeah, but it's not proper dance. How many artists do you think are out there not signed to labels that if you mention TikTok to them in a music sense will go, yeah, but it's not proper music? Almost every single one.
Yeah.
But it might not be proper music in their opinion. It might not be proper dance, but it's successful dance. It's successful music.
It's getting off your ass and not waiting for someone to hand it to you. Because look, you know, Brooke and Jesse, what's their dream? Probably their dream is dance behind someone. It's the same dream. It's the same dream, but they've been able to do it within a couple of years, working for American artists. Within a couple of years, nowhere near as good as the top commercial dancers, but they've been able to do it because they've got off their ass and they've done the work, and they've video, idea, and they've just kept churning, and boom, they've done it.
Exactly. Like literally just look at the Capital Summertime Ball this past weekend. Meghan Trainor comes out, does her performance, has backing dancers, brings out Brookie and Jesse as the guest act. It's like, I don't know, Rihanna bringing Kanye West out. Is Meghan Trainor bringing Brookie and Jesse out? Like, look at the level they've sat into from doing that. They've literally just jumped straight above all of the people they've been trained through college to look at as their competition.
So, if you want to get paid more, go check out Brooke and Jesse.
Pretty much. So, the simplistic form is if you want to get paid more, build your value, and then ask for more.
Yeah.
Don't just ask. You're falling into a trap by just asking.
Okie doke. So, before we end, I just want to say, if you haven't seen our latest guest episodes, then click the links below to see episodes with Christina Andrea, Dax O'Callaghan, Ian Bannum. We've got loads of guest episodes that we've done. We've got some great ones coming in the future. Some really exciting, cool guests that I can't wait for us to record. They're coming up in the next few weeks, so look out for that. And yeah, Bailey, why don't you see us out?
Yeah, so before we leave off, subscribe to the channel, give us a like on the video, turn on the notification bell, and let us know what you think down in the comments, because I'm sure there's a few people that hate what we're seeing here. Hate what we're saying here. Love to hear what you're saying, would love to hear those points. Maybe even bring you on for the panel discussion on this.
They're probably hating what they're seeing as well. We're not the most best looking guys, are we?
Fair play, I can understand. Cool. Let us know what you think down below, and we will see you all next week.
Take care.